Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. I don't know what's going on, but there are major changes and shifts in our universe. I don't quite totally understand it. I'm hoping he can give us some insight. He is an energy worker and healing with love for Ascension. Douglas Holzman is on the program with us. Douglas, how you doing today?
Oh, it's another day in paradise. How about you?
Pretty much the same. It's Friday when we're doing this, and I have no complaints. It's all good.
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. So before we get into these changes that are going on within our universe, and I know we're in as of today, actually, Mercury retrograde. We have a full moon coming up tomorrow. Tell us what you do and how you help people in terms of energy work.
Okay, so for me, and that's why I call it energy work. I do have 2 certificates of the Reiki, as we call it, which is just universal life force energy. The energy I allow to come in through my crown chakra, and it comes in. We all get a certain amount of energy on a daily basis, but for me, I can accept infinitesimal amounts, and therefore comes out my hands, out of my voice, off my body. So wherever I'm at, the energy is always being transmuted. So for an individual, I can do this in person just by flowing energy into them. And so with this, I don't control what goes on. I just flow the energy. So your higher self, your soul, and the guides and the angels that we all have around us that work together to assist us on this, they decide, the person's soul, and that they decide what happens to you at that moment. So basically what it is this high vibrational love energy that we all come from flows down into an individual's being and pushes everything else out of lower vibration, because anything lower vibrational cannot live in a high vibrational environment. So that's basically how it works. So you be relieved of all those things that no longer serve you, so you can move forward. Like people hold on to emotions like fear, anger, guilt, worry. Love energy, love, peace, bliss, and joy. That's the exact opposite of that scale. So we want to feel love and peace and bliss and joy all the time, but living human, and that's the whole thing. Let me speak this. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. So we come down here to experience being human, and with that comes a little baggage. So I'm one of the individuals that's come down here, and this isn't a business for me. This is my sole purpose. This is what I came here to do, is to help people rid themselves of all that lower vibrational stuff that gets them stuck and puts them back into that state of peace and calm. Now, I can only assist a person in doing that. They have to do the work themselves. So you have to make choices that allow you to be in that frame of mind as well. Do the things that allow you to be in that space. And it also can be done remotely, hence the energy coming through my voice. So we do it over the phone, and I've actually heard from other people some very incredible things in person and over the phone, remotely. It's very incredible. So my basic function is to assist those people of humanity in moving forward at a soul level for their highest good. Because we're, like I say, we're spiritual beings. We're just down here having a human experience, trying to get back into that love consciousness. And it's a process. And so I'm here to assist with that.
Do you find, Douglas,
so that's the basic.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Do you have to get rid of the negative energy before you can put the positive energy in?
Well, you don't have to get rid of it. So the positive, so I just call it love energy. Okay, it's that's the energy we're all made of. Everything is made of. Okay, but so when that's coming in, it's forcing the other to leave. But this sometimes, depending on what's in there and what's stuck and how long it's been there and how long you've been holding on to it and not letting it go, because maybe you didn't know it needed to go. You didn't know this is what caused you to be in a down state. So when this comes in, it pushes that other stuff out, and sometimes it may be a little painful. It brings things up that you haven't been working on, because that's what we're here for. We're here to work on ourselves at a soul level, to move our soul forward. But we're doing it in a physical form, because up there we don't know anything but love. That's it. So we come down here to have this experience being human, and all these things are going on, and it's always a competition and every man for himself, and less people are working together. Not that it's not happening, but everybody's in competition with everybody else, and it gets to be a struggle instead of the oneness that we're from.
Now, we started by talking that there is some kind of shift lately around the universe, and more than ever, what is going on?
So for my rendition of it is, okay, so our planet, Mother Earth, as people call it, is going through a natural evolution into a fifth dimensional consciousness, which means nothing more than a love consciousness. So it's time for Mother Earth to evolve. So therefore, the inhabitants of it, being humans, have to raise their vibration as well to stay. So there again, like I said, high vibrational energy, nothing lower vibrational can live in that environment. So humanity, it's come time for them in their, say, 300,000 years that they've been around. And don't quote me on that, because there's no textbook that's going to tell you that. In fact, half of the information I get probably is not in a textbook. But anyway, so with that being said, it's time for humanity to move forward and be in that love consciousness and that oneness that we came from in a human physical form. And this has been going on for a long time. So this is why this is happening, because the planet is going through its own evolution. So therefore, humans have to evolve accordingly. And it's not a big deal. I mean, some came here for this awakening, some did not. But that's what they're calling it. And that's really what it is, awakening to our true selves of who we really are, not what we've been taught what we are.
Now, when you say that we have this whole shift happening and it's been going on for a while, I've been hearing it started in the early 2000s, late 1999, somewhere in that territory. I don't know if this is the same thing that you're referring to, but that's what I heard. And it takes time for it to shift.
Yeah, it's actually probably been going on for longer than that, because it's a process. So I'd say they were talking like in 2012, how everything was the Mayan calendar ended and all this. I don't study a bunch of that stuff, because for me, and I believe it would work for everybody, it's like distracting you from what you're really here to be doing. Because when we come down here, we choose everything before we come. Our souls, we're like, we choose our parents, we choose our siblings, we choose the lessons we want to come down here to work on. We choose even our exit point, but we choose the lessons we want, we choose everything, our experiences that we're going to have. So I don't get too much into that, although I do know that it's been going on for some time. Okay, so it's how do I want to put it? Well, it's something that let's just say it's something that needed to happen. And no matter when it happened, just like you can call it what you want, you can't change what it is. It's basically humanity moving forward at a soul level for their own individual selves. And then when you work on your individual self, or you have assistance there to have that, then we move forward as a whole, which is where we started. Pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of little details in there, about that they take away from what you're supposed to be doing. So each person is here to do their own work and have those people come into their space to assist them with that when it's time. Because not everybody is ready for that. So that's part of what I do as well. Those people come to me that need assistance, and that's all I can give them is assistance, and then knowledge, guidance, and understanding about what they probably could do in order to move themselves forward. The energy is a big kicker, though. It actually gives you a jump start, a big boost in clearing what you need to clear.
I don't know if this question could be answered, but I feel like I need to ask it. Now, I'm curious. You say that
you have to do what you feel.
Well, yeah. And I've heard this before too, that we choose our parents, choose our siblings, choose our life purpose, all of those things before we even take the human form. Is there any way
Absolutely.
in the human form, is there any way to know some of the choices that were you made before you took that form? Like some of the deeper stuff, some of the lessons you're supposed to be learning. Is there any way to know that?
Yeah, I would say yes. Most of the guidance that I get comes straight from the divine, you know, always. So yeah, of course you're gonna have them. People call them deja vu's, or just these thoughts that pop in your head and be like, oh, and then you feel into it. Just does that feel like it's right, or does that make sense to me? And yes, of course. So yeah, of course you do know these things. You know, maybe not everybody, because everybody's at a different part of their path. So some people are more aware than other people, and that's okay. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're always moving forward as long as you're putting forth the work. So it doesn't make anybody, you know, I always tell people there's nobody, there's a line. There's nobody above the line. There's nobody below the line. We're all in the same line. Some are just further along that line, the path, you know, and it depends on how many lifetimes you've lived and what learning you've done. So we're all still in an individual, we're on an individual path, but it's the same one. We're just at a different point of it. So yeah, that's the, yes, your question, absolutely correct.
Do you believe in a karma?
Oh yeah, trust me on this. Yes. So it's like the law of attraction that you'll hear on TV and this and that. The law of attraction is what you put out, you're going to get back. So the universe is biased. The universe doesn't know positive or negative or right or wrong or this and that. They only know what you asked for. So if you're putting out, let's say, lower vibrational energy, that's what they're going to give you back, because that's what they know you asked for. You put out some high vibe energy and you're putting that into the, you know, into your space and being, then you're gonna attract that. So of course, yeah. And so karma is you being held accountable for the choices that you've made. And hopefully, if the choices you make aren't bringing you what you feel, well, actually should say what you need, because what you want and what you need at a soul level could be two very different things. But yes, but if you're out there doing things that don't look so right, then yes, you're probably going to accept karma for that. And that's just your accountability for the decisions you make. Because remember, we have free will. No matter how it was given to us, the universe, creator, whatever you want to call it, we were given free will to come down here and do whatever we want. But the fine print states that you do these things and they're maybe not what you should have been doing, you're going to reap the rewards of that, whether it be the positive side or the negative side. But yes, karma, very real. And some people get instant karma.
Mm.
You know?
You know what? That was my next question. How long?
Yeah.
And you know, there's good karma too and bad karma. I
Oh,
guess we're
absolutely.
centering, you know, right now, when I think most people associate karma with the payback type of
Yeah.
karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, instant karma. But if it isn't instant, if it takes time for it to catch up to you, let's say if you've done things that
Yeah.
aren't you know, above board, shall we say, uh,
Yes.
or in the best interest of
Not
others,
loving.
not loving,
Yes.
not loving.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that. Thank you for saying
Right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what?
Well,
You're right. Because let's press pause button right here with what you just said. When you think of people who, and we all have them, unfortunately, that haven't done the right thing by way of other people, if they were thinking love, they wouldn't have done them. So you're on target with what you just said. But when karma come comes back to get you, or somebody who hasn't done the right thing, does it happen in your lifetime, or are we talking, you know, potentially in a future?
you again.
Oh, I got you loud and clear. I see you.
What the hell's going on?
We're talking to Douglas Holzman, who is an energy worker and a healer for Ascension, and a little tech issue that we're working on here.
Yeah, okay. I can hear you now. I don't know what happens. It's a second, but okay.
Oh, Douglas,
Yeah.
I know what happened. You know what happened?
Well, let's hear it.
Mercury retrograde.
It's energy. You're right. Well, that's
Yeah.
true. That's what happens when you have this phenomenal amount of energy coming in, of which I'm capable of carrying a lot of. Yeah, it does mess your stuff up.
Yeah.
So back to the question of the you were getting at.
Yeah. So in terms of looking at karma, returning for people who haven't done the right thing, not the loving thing,
Yes.
do you believe it happens in their lifetime, or could it actually carry over to another lifetime if you
Oh,
believe in reincarnation?
well, so that's a good question, because I believe it can happen at any moment in time, but only when it's supposed to happen. But of course, we've been living lifetimes as humans for quite some time.
Hmm.
So yes, all your karma will come with you, and you work on paying it off. So down here with free will, you don't have good or bad or right or wrong. You have free will. So everything here is like anything goes. And then you take care of that later. Because up there, we wouldn't do things like this as we do down here. So my daughter puts it very well. She goes, Dad, it's like a bunch of kids on a playground. You know, they don't know what's going on. So if you're a newer soul, haven't lived that many lifetimes, you may not know these things. So you're just kind of filling around. Now there's the real ugly stuff that goes on. I'm not quite sure, but trust me, you can only go on with that for so long. And before you have to be held accountable in whatever way, I don't know. I'm not going to say there's a hell or there's this, but I do know one thing. When we go up there, we no longer have that. And if so, you're still like that, I would imagine there's like a recycling bin where you can be put back into primordial ooze energy, and something else will be made out of you. I don't have that information. I come down here and I try to stay in non-judgment and allow everybody to do what they do, so as they're not infringing upon me. And of course, if somebody is infringing upon your own free will, then definitely stand up for yourself. I don't say don't do that, but I find in most situations, if you send love or high vibe, energy to that situation, then you're actually trying or working at transmuting it, versus battling it where you're feeding it with that negative energy, because anything that's not love, peace, bliss, and joy is of a lower vibration.
Yep.
And it's not transmuting, that's not being transmuted. You're feeding the fire. It's a hard thing for people to take.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even for people to understand it in terms of karma. And then it's
Right.
also whether you believe in, past lives and reincarnation.
Oh.
So I'm wondering, with the work you've done, any stories, any examples, Douglas, that you can share? By the way, I want to give your website out, which is douglasholzman.com. Spell it for us to make sure we got it right.
DOUGLASHOLZMAN.com.
And I will say I'm so jealous that you got a domain name using your name.
Well, that's what they told me to do. I'm 24/7 divinely directed. My higher self, we talk all the time about what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to be. I don't move. I move around a lot, so I don't have an office, so to speak. My office is wherever I'm at. And yeah, so they said use your name, because throughout our lifetimes we've had many names, and I've had some really cool ones, but with them cool names comes a very specific type of job for the universe. So it's like one of those things, you have to walk a mile in somebody's shoes in order, you might look like I'm such that, but you didn't have to walk the path that I walked to do the job that I do. And most people don't want to do it anyway, because I get around a lot of lower dark vibrational areas to transmute that, as they flow energy, and to, how do they say, anchor light, love and light, when light is just knowledge, but the energy itself in certain areas to shift that energy to bring it into a higher state.
Sure.
So I'm like a big beacon of light, and there's more of us. So it's multifaceted. Some cool stories. I tell you what, the energy moves through certain people. They tell me some of the stuff that they saw. I did a session for this one girl in Romania over the phone, and she was going through a bad way. She had a lot of anxiety, and she just needed somebody. So she got a hold of me on Facebook, and she's like, I never met her before. And so I said, well, here, let's do this session over the phone. And so I say my thing, what I got to do, and let the energies flow and ask them for whatever she needs. And, the guides and the angels. And she did a testimonial on my website that she called it earthquake energy.
Wow.
She said not only was her bed shaking, but her whole body was vibrating. And I was like, wow, that's a new one on me. But that, that or my native friends, because I do practice Native American ways. I carry a sacred pipe. They gave me a spirit name, the universe, but it's just part of the whole. But anyway, I was doing a session for him, and he was like, said they took him, put him on a hill where there was like this temple. And he said Kuan Yin came to him and was talking to him and said, "You're home now, brother." And he went through a whole bunch more, about the situation, but he was like, it was incredible, man. He says, I've never, other than the dreams that he has where he goes to, they take him to heaven and show him, the angels and this and that. But
Right.
it's incredible what this energy can actually do for a person. And just though I'm just a conduit for it, but I've done this job for many lifetimes, which is why for me it's so easy to do this time, because it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I'm not, because I'm allowing the universe to work through me, my higher self, if you will, my piece of God, to do this work. Whereas there's not like a set way of doing it. Flow energy and allow them to take care of what needs to be taken care of. You let go of all control other than the fact that I show up, and incredible things happen.
I want to tap into your energy. Throw me some of that, bro.
Oh, here. Hey, I'll send it all. I'll send all the love and light to you, brother, that you want. This is my purpose,
Bring it on.
So,
send it over here and wherever else you got to send it. I'm totally serious. You know what I feel like? I feel like I'm a Tesla and I need to plug in one of the charging station.
Well, with that being said, that's exactly what happens. So if I get around people and I talk to them, you can see their energy shift. You stay in that high vibration, that love vibration, and it's like it rubs off. It's addictive, and then it's like, oh, what happened? And then I could walk into a room and shift the energy in seconds. I do a lot of laughing, I do a lot of joking, playing around just to shift that energy. This is who I am, and you're always emanating it off your body. And so just by, like I said, through my voice, whoever needs something that's listening right now, even yourself, you accept and allow from the universe that energy, and you'll start shifting. And that's a part of the awakening I was going to tell you about, the work that I do. So I get around everybody. I assist everybody that's brought to me or comes to me. Those that haven't awoken yet, those that are getting ready to start an awakening, those that are going through an awakening, and then those light workers that you've heard of, I also assist them as well, because there's downloads and activations that come through the energies that they flow through me, that allow, which is basically knowledge, that allow them to move forward and shift as well. And it's just, allows them to do it quicker. I'm not quite sure why that is. I just know that it is, it's that knowing. So yeah, there's a broad range of people that I'm here to assist. So me coming on here today and just coming into Kentucky to visit my mom for her birthday, and get this call to have this interview podcast, and then have this podcast that we're having right now. I know it's divinely directed, because how would you pick my website card offline out of how many people? There's a lot.
Agreed.
So, so I know that things, I was told like a few weeks ago that things are starting to move forward. Things are needing to be shifted. I'm going to be doing a lot of moving around, carrying this knowledge and this energy wherever I go.
Well, the testament to this, and just what you said before, the woman from Romania found you on Facebook. Just that, there's millions of people on Facebook, billions in the world, and you were chosen. She found you, and you helped her. That didn't just happen.
No, it's divinely directed. Yeah, there are no coincidences. There are no
coincidences.
No. And if you listen, and that's what this is really about. It's about listening to your higher self, your intuition. Your intuition will guide you. Feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, by all means, don't do it. But we're hard-headed humans sometimes, and we're gonna have to. We'll take a chance here or there.
Well, you know what? This gets in the way.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I've heard and I've said myself is get out of your own way. Yeah. Because you are your own. Stay in your heart, get out of your head, because your head, but we've been trained to be in our head. Yep. We've not really so much been trained or taught to be in our hearts. Long time ago, yeah. So on my website, it says pure heart, pure intentions, faith, trust, and patience. That's really all you need to move forward. Faith and trust that the divine will take care of you anytime that you need it. The patience part is the divine timing, is when they can make it happen. It's free will.
It's on it's not a different timeline. It's not your own. Douglas, great talking with you. So awesome to even be a part of your energy, because it is. It's
you as well, brother. Will you feel it? That's good.
I totally your friend. Do. I totally do. And
I love it. I love it.
There's no energy, knows no time, no space. If somebody wants to connect with you, they just go to your website, they can reach out to you and then see if you can help them.
And my cell phone, 402-841-2852. Always on me. Yeah, my website, DouglasHolzman.com. I'm also Douglas Holzman on Facebook, Douglas Holzman on TikTok, which I don't get on too much, but I like to be doing the work. And so I know now it's getting time for me to really get out there and assist the people, which is why I came here in the first place.
Well, we need you, and we need more people like you to spread the love, the light, and the energy. And Douglas, great talking to you. Really
awesome talking with you too, Steve.
Yeah, and
thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you, and I look forward maybe catching up again sometime with you.
Hey, you got my cell phone. Call me. I'm available anytime. We can do a session.
You know what? Sounds good. 402-841-2852. And again, thanks, Doug. Have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you so much. You have a great weekend as well.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.